Welcome to this course on computer programming. In this session, we are going to look at how text data is handled from text files. From the video lectures, you would have seen how files are handled generally. We note that each file is stored on external storage devices. The files have a name, a path or a location, size and access permissions. All of these things are handled by the operating system. When we wish to handle files and data from files in C++ programs, we can define and use special pointers called file pointers, and the name of the pointer becomes the internal file name as far as C++ program is concerned. Of course, a file pointer has to be associated with an external file. What we will see in this session and the subsequent sections is how to handle data from text files. First and foremost, we know that text data can be independently entered in a text file using any text editor. There are several other file formats such as word processor, spreadsheets, etc., where the data is stored in some specialized format, but all of these programs permit the files to be saved as plain text files, such as data from a spreadsheet. We shall later see how a spreadsheet data is saved as a text data and processed using C++ programs. As we mentioned, C++ programs can read data from and write data to text files. We note that the cin operator that we use can read a sequence of ASCII characters and can convert these characters into appropriate values in internal format. Similarly, cout converts internal values into ASCII characters text and outputs these on monitor. Actually, these operators read and write from files. These two standard files are called STDin and STDout to represent standard input file and standard output file. The normal input output operations are conducted by the operating system using STDin and STDout. These files are automatically opened by the operating system. More importantly, these are automatically connected to keyboard and terminal by the operating system. Let us look at this action of the operating system diagrammatically. When we execute our program, the operating system connects the file STDin to our program and similarly connects the STDout to our program. What the operating system does by default is that it connects the STDin to keyboard and STDout to monitor. That is how we are able to type in our input from keyboard, is read by the program, and the output produced by the keyboard via STDout connected to monitor goes on to the monitor. In short, we note that when our program starts execution, the operating system connects STDin to keyboard and STDout to monitor, and that is how we carry out our input output operations using keyboard and monitor. The default connections for STDin and STDout are automatically invoked even when we execute a program from a command line. For example, we say myprog at the command line. It will take input from keyboard and give output to the terminal. When we use code blocks to execute our program, for example, a terminal window is opened which is connected to STDout and our keyboard is used by code blocks as STDin. It is possible to redirect the two standard files STDin and STDout to external text files stored, for example, on disk. If we type at command line my program less than infile.txt greater than outfile.txt. Now this command line means that do not read data from STDin but read from infile.txt. In short, STDin is now redirected to the file infile.txt. So all keyboard inputs such as by using cin will now be read from this file and not from keyboard. Similarly, greater than outfile.txt means that STDout is connected to outfile.txt. So, all output such as that produced by using cout will now be written to this file. Let us look at the redirection diagrammatically. When we issue a command myprog less than infile.txt greater than outfile.txt, let us see what happens. Let us see how redirection works on the STDin and STDout files. So, as usual, our program would be given two files, STDin and STDout. However, when we use redirection, the STDin is connected to an input file and so is STDout. What it means is that the text input will now come from infile.txt and the text output will go out to outfile.txt. In short, this is how the redirection will be implemented. Our program which reads data from STDin will now instead read it from infile.txt, and our program which produces output on STDout will actually write it to outfile.txt. In summary, we saw that the normal text input and output actually comes from and goes to files. STDin and STDout are standard input output files used by any operating system. Normally, these are connected to keyboard and terminal, but can be redirected to other text files. Thank you.